Welcome to my new workshop. A look at where my new workshop and I will be located and the current state of the place. The date is Sunday the 8th of September 2019. I stayed overnight at the farm and this is the farm. Or at least a very small part of it. I got up very early on Sunday morning and here's what I found outside. Quite a few horses, some of them in stables and some of them in the fields. It was very misty and quite damp, but I couldn't resist taking these shots because it's such a beautiful place. Unfortunately, I had some company. These two are my daughter's horses. One's a male on the left and one's a female on the right. I don't know anything about horses. But the male didn't want to be upstaged, so he moved the female out of the way. But then he wandered off as well. This is not where I'm going to live though. I'm going to live here. And yes, it looks very nice. Well, from the outside it does. It needs a bit of work on the inside. Round the back of the house it was very overgrown. And thanks to Rob, my daughter's husband, a lot of the ground's been cleared, and this is the second skip. As you can clearly see from this image, there's a lot to be done to the house, and we're going to turn it into something special. Time to go inside. At the right-hand side of the house is a very ramshackle conservatory with a spider web to end all spider webs. Here's another shot of the conservatory with some of the kitchen furniture in there, which is probably going to go in the workshop. This is going to be the lounge, not much model engineering in here, just a couple of steam engines. And this is going to be the kitchen. The cooker gives you the clue. We're going to fit a new kitchen in here, and I think I may possibly plaster in the connections to the cooker. I don't think I could live with the duct tape look. This is quite nice. It's the half-finished ceiling of the kitchen. By the time I returned here on Sunday afternoon, my daughter Emma had cleaned off every bit of the white paint from the existing ceiling. I like this feature. It's the fireplace in the kitchen, and there's also one in the lounge. Time to go upstairs. I intend to build my recording studio into this building, and the building is ideal for what I want to do. I don't have bands in the studio anymore, but I do need a vocal booth, and I'll be building this in one corner of this large room upstairs. As I worked out the dimensions of the vocal booth, I realised it's going to be a lot more than a vocal booth. For instance, the iMac computer that I use for recording and editing the videos will also be in this room, and every morning I'll be able to go into this room, shut the door behind me and do voiceovers in extreme silence, which is not always the case here. But when I look at the dimensions, it really is going to be big enough to put guitar amplifiers in there, should I need to record live guitar, and maybe even a drum kit, who knows. This is a really weird, quite useless bit at the top of the stairs at the other side. But then I realised I could put some of my display cabinets in this area, so I could have steam engines on the landing. The room opposite the studio is going to be my bedroom, and Emma's been in there, you can tell. A beam was boxed in, and it was boxed in really badly because it was too low and you just banged your head on it. So Emma and her husband Rob removed all the cladding from around it, and now it's fine. You can see the space that the boxing in took. It made the whole thing lower, and every time I walked underneath the beam, I banged my head on the boxed in part. The door in the centre of the picture is just an opening into the roof void where I can store some stuff that I don't want to be visible. We're going to put an ensuite bathroom in this room, which will be very handy. The door you can see is just the entrance to the roof void. But never mind about that, this is the important part, the workshop. My son-in-law has done a really good job on clearing it because a lot of this shed was nearly invisible because it was so overgrown. There's a lot of work to do on this building, not just externally. I need to get rid of the ivy and give it all a good coat of saddling extra. Apparently it's had a fairly new roof. It's also got a water butt, very useful. Rainwater is good for boilers. This is a side door entrance, and inside you can see there's a lighting stand. I brought that over, and a warning on the door, which is always a good thing. The layout of this workshop is absolutely perfect for what I want. There's a side entrance door into a sectioned off part of the workshop. This will be what I call the dirty part of the workshop for sanding and grinding, and I'm also going to put a brazing hearth in there. All the silver soldering that I do will be able to be carried out right next to an open door. And then if I put a piece of wood on top of the brazing hearth, I can also spray paint in this area. I've started to move certain things into the workshop. This amplifier is from a Hammond L102 organ, and below it is something that the previous owner left in the workshop. It's a Mammoth traction engine. I already have one of these, but this one's in a bit of a state, so I may do a series about refurbishing it. It's a bit of a mess really, and although it appears to have a burner, I think the bunker's missing. Right now though, I don't have the time to think about jobs like that. I have a lot of work in front of me. As the camera pans from right to left, these are parts from the old workshop that I brought with me when I came over. I'm looking forward to the space, and for the first time I'll be able to have my main benches right in the centre of the room. No more moving heavy steam engines. I just move around the other side with the camera to film the back. The first job I'm going to do is repaint the entire building on the inside. Some of it will be white, some of it will be a sky blue colour. I have to make the building very suitable for video, and the first things to go are going to be the fluorescent lights. Because they flicker too much, I'm going to change them for LEDs. This is what I will see when I open the 2 double doors during the summer months. A quick note to my kind Patreon supporters, please be patient. Whilst I'm doing this job, there will be some breaks in the video continuity. Normally, as you're probably aware, I try and make a new video almost every day. While I'm travelling over to the new location, not only to paint and refit the workshop, but I need to make the living accommodation habitable, and it's not at the moment. Thankfully, my daughter Emma is even more tenacious than I am, so it should all fall into place very soon. Normal service will be resumed as soon as possible, and until the gap while I move the equipment into the new workshop and actually move in, the videos will continue more or less as normal. All I can say at the end of this video, because it's not particularly useful, is thanks for watching. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website. Click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you will find it very easy to find other videos that you may like to watch.